Hello, welcome to West Anime Sims. My name is Calvin, and how are you doing? We are back with another video of Coral Island. This time we're going to discuss a little bit about the Townies in Coral Island. Now we have missed all the characters which are dateable in Coral Island. I have the video down in the description below, as well as I would recommend you to watch a video by Sarah Sunstone explaining the family trees and who's related to who. The video is also linked down in the description below. So let's introduce ourselves to the Townies in Coral Island. Now there are a total of 52 characters in Coral Island, and there are more later on. 25 of them are romanceable, as I explained before in another video. So let's check out the other residents in Coral Island, starting with Anne. A wildlife enthusiast, Anne enjoys going to the beach and playing volleyball with her family when she's not busy editing videos. Now, I kinda like Anne more than her husband. I think this is the trend among married couples. I would like one of the spouse more than the other. And she's kinda nice. She is pretty friendly. She's not as obsessed about nature as Paul is, which we'll see later on. Overall, she's kind of a really pleasant housewife to interact with. Next, we have Antonio. Antonio is Suki's ex-husband and Valentina's dad. He owns the White Flamingo boutique. While he's in Starlet Town, he stays at the inn. So, Antonio is kinda pretty good-looking guy, and I'm surprised he's not romanceable as his ex-wife is, Suki. I think it explains a lot that he's not particularly available or around town a lot. Sometimes he's in, sometimes he's not, so it's kind of a rare chance to get to know him a little bit better. Next, we have Archie. Archie can sometimes be found in the vineyard playing with Taco. He loves animals and wants to be a vet one day. Okay, Archie is one of the 4 kids in Coral Island, and I don't have a strong opinions among kids. All of them are pretty cute, pretty nice personality. Archie has a little bit of obsession with catching insects and also collecting rocks. So if you find these interests a bit weird, let's go with the flow and just entertain him for a while. Next, we have Betty. Betty is retired and spends her days refilling the bird feeders in town, educating kids about coral reefs and baking pastries. Okay, now Betty is, although a retiree, she is a busy woman. She is all around town all the time. You can see her almost everywhere. And she is quite a pleasant woman to talk to. And yeah, and she has 4 kids. So Aaliyah and Noah are 2 of them, and you will also meet Frank later on, and also one unseen character who is also her child. We haven't seen him yet. Next, we have Bree. Bree owns the Hillside Manor and Vineyard. A former model, she now spends her days farming and being an excellent household manager. Now, Bree is a stereotypical desperate housewife. She has all the aspects of Gabrielle and Bree as well. From the looks of it, I generally find it very surprising she has an adult son, which is Luke. It's because she looks way too young for having an adult son. But we really know she's really pretty, and she's a former fashion model that explains it really well. Up next, we have Connor, which is the mayor of Coral Island. Before he became the mayor, Connor used to run his own general store with his late wife, Carol. Wears a hat. So, Mayor Connor is not particularly my favorite, or not particularly. I don't hate him. I don't like him either. So it's kind of a neutral character, but he is pretty important in festivals that you shall see later on. And yeah, he's generally introduced you to the island, gives you all the ropes you need to accustom to the island, and yeah, all in all, NPC that is pretty functional. Next, we have Dinda. Dinda is a local carpenter. She says carpentry is a passion, not a job. She tends her herb garden and busies herself with community activities in her free time. Now, Dinda and her husband Joko the names are pretty common for Indonesian people, and yeah, Dinda is kind of a cool housewife, and she is also around when you want to build stuff in your farm. So all in all, she's a really pleasant character. Next, we have Dipa. Dipa likes to lose themselves in making art. As they once said, sanity is boring, and to them, boring is not living. Okay, Dipa is another non-binary character in Coral Island. Another character is Raj, which is dateable. This is not. Dipa is also a partner with Emma, and I'm kind of disappointed with Dipa because I do vibe with them about art, and unfortunately they are not really around town. It's very hard to meet them, and they rarely attend the festival, so it's really hard to engage or get to know them better. Next we have Eleanor. Eleanor is the bug expert on Coral Island. She hangs out a lot in Garden Lane. Okay, Eleanor is kind of an okay character. I don't really find her particularly interesting other than she's obsessed with insects and bugs. Okay, and also she's the only one that likes bugs. And notice she has brooches, 2 butterfly brooches at her jacket, which is a signifier that she likes insects. Next, we have Emily. Emily is a hairdresser. She likes to forage around the lake for berries and mushrooms and has a fondness for vintage items. Emily is another really pleasant character. She is really commonly around in Starlet Town, which is the town area in Coral Island. And yeah, she generally likes to talk to you. She likes to engage with you a lot, asking you how you feel, and yeah, generally giving you a pretty nice, friendly vibe to be comfortable in staying in the island. Next, we have Emma. Emma lives a quiet life with her partner Dipa, and she isn't a big fan of nights out. She's the proud owner of a taco truck. Okay, Emma also is another character which is very hard to engage with, but she's a little bit more better than Dipa. She has the taco truck around. She is at the grocery stores to buy her stuff. Unfortunately, you can't buy anything from the taco truck that she have as of right now. Hopefully later on, as the game updates, you can buy at least some food to eat or as gifts for your friends in Coral Island. Next, we have Erica. When she isn't working at the hair salon, Erica can be found volunteering at school or hanging around town, lending an ear and giving advice free of charge. Now, I pin Erica as the town gossip of Coral Island because she knows a lot of things about everyone and everything. So if you want to get to know everybody else about the island, you really need to talk to her because she has loads of secrets. That's why her hair is quite big. Next, we have her husband, Frank. Frank runs the tavern with his brother, Noah. He loves cooking and vintage scooters. He has 2 very spoiled cats, Peanut and Butter. Now, Frank is a really cool guy. He is very excited, very passionate about his tavern, and generally a very nice, interesting guy for you to talk to. Next, we have Jack. Jack is the island's rancher, and he lives with his family in a humble cabin in the forest. He doesn't celebrate birthdays. Right, Jack is one of the characters whose birthday is unknown, as well as his wife Kira. And I prefer Jack more than Kira. Not because Kira is a bad character, but I feel that Jack is much more friendly. He is much more gentle and much more less abrasive. And yeah, it gives a nice advice about ranching and all the other things regarding animals. Jim helps Sunny run the beach shack as a cook. He makes a killer smoked salmon that he sometimes sells in the shack. Now Jim is one of the characters who is pretty much apprehensive about you moving into town because he kind of has some issues, people coming in and ruin things for the island, as you will see later on in the story of Coral Island, the lore. He's pretty cold to you unless you want to talk to him and soften it up a bit by buying him gifts and engage with his conversation. He's also the father of Theo and Lily as well. Next we have Joko. Joko is a local carpenter. He's married to Dinda, who is also a carpenter. He has a family on a neighboring island and visits them every now and then. Now Joko is also another character you shall see very often with Dinda as a carpenter. He is also a generally really nice guy, and he kind of engage with you a lot in a lot of conversations. So yeah, all in all, a really pleasant NPC. Next we have Kira. Kira is a member of BOS, an international group for hunters. She spends her days in the forest, keeping an eye on the cavern. She doesn't celebrate birthdays. Now Kira is an important character to engage with if you want to go mining in the mines, and she'll teach you a lot of things about mining and engage with monsters. And she is also a person who is important later on about BOS, which is Band of Smiles, about a band defending the caves and fighting off monsters. And overall, she's a tough cookie. I do appreciate a lot of women in this Coral Island are not just stereotypical soft feminine types. They also have tough ladies around the island. Well, yeah, generally if you farm or mine or become a carpenter, you are not a dainty looking character. Next we have Ling. Ling is a marine biologist. She dedicates her life to studying coral reefs and developing ways to improve farming practices using sea minerals. Now Ling is another character who is important in terms of diving and engage with the merfolk, which you shall see later on in the game. And yeah, she is a really excitable character, and she has a lot of wealth and information about the underwater world. So yeah, talk to her about more about diving and other things. Next we have Oliver. Oliver wants to join the police force when he grows up. He loves detective shows and dreams of becoming a police detective. Oliver is another character who is a kid in Coral Island who is passionate about one thing, which is investigation as a police officer, which is pretty cute. His clothes are actually shows very well of his passion and his hobbies. And I like his spiky hair, it's pretty cute. Next we have Paul. Paul is a wildlife enthusiast. He and his wife make wildlife documentaries for a living. He has a big heart and he likes the beach. Okay, Paul is another character who loves the nature a little bit too much. But he is more obsessive than his wife, I would believe. So, because sometimes when you talk to him, he will like, shh, be quiet. I'm recording a video and I'm obsessed. I'm talking about all this wildlife stuff. So yeah, so bear with him if you are not really into nature. But why don't you? Because this game is all about nature and environment. Next, we have Randy. Randy Barnes is a teacher with a remarkable ability to explain complex ideas in a simple and easy to understand manner. He loves classic literature. Okay, Randy is the teacher in school. He's always around the kids in Coral Island on the weekdays. And interesting to note that he has the prosthetic arm or robotic arm, that the story doesn't really put a lot of focus in it. We don't know much about the robotic arm. which is just part of his character, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, it's reactive as if it is a pretty normal thing in his daily life, and I'm generally very okay with that. Next up, we have Sam. Sam owns and runs the general store. He spends his free time doing brain exercises such as chess, jigsaw puzzles, and crossword puzzles. He also goes dancing with his wife, Emily. Okay, you will see Sam a lot when you visit the general store to buy seeds and some little items for your farming materials. And yeah, Sam, although a pretty nice guy, but he's also pretty strict and hardworking. Sometimes his quotes are not particularly friendly. So yeah, he has a mix of being kind and rude at the same time, depending on context. Next, we have Sunny. Sunny runs the beach shack. Though he doesn't often fish anymore, he still keeps pictures of his monster fish catches upstairs at his house. Okay, when you talk to Sunny, you will notice his quotes are all always in caps or all in capital letters, which is indication he is yelling at you all the time. My guess, he has a hearing problem, and he wants to, or he's generally very excited about everything in life. Yeah, he's also a really fun character to talk to. Next, we have Valentina. Valentina enjoys hanging out with her friends and family. She lives at the inn and often plays at the beach. Valentina is pretty nice. I think she is the most mature out of the 4 kids in Coral Island. She has a lot of connections with a lot of main characters in the story. Yeah, and generally she is pretty nice and interesting. I think she's one of the characters that is not particularly obsessed with certain hobbies. Next, we have Walter. Walter is the former high-powered lawyer. He now owns the Hillside Manor and Vineyard. Now, Walter is Bree's husband, and as I said before, I generally like one of the spouse of the other. In this case, it's Bree over Walter. And yeah, Walter gives me a vibe of a 50-year-old business guy who is actually going to lecture you about how you do things wrong, how you work with stuff. But other than that, he's not particularly very abrasive compared to the other characters. He's generally a nice guy, although a little bit more pompous or aloof, maybe because he's grew up really rich. So yeah, sometimes he tries to become more down to earth and more engaging with the rest of the residents in Coral Island. Next, we have Wataru. Wataru usually goes out only to take care of his garden and to visit the beach shack. Okay, yeah, Wataru is actually the boatman that actually ferries you from Tokyo to Coral Island. And aside from that, you can't really talk much with Wataru because he's rarely around in the island other than the lighthouse and also the beach shack. And also, he doesn't attend festivals at all. So yeah, it's really hard to engage with him. Wataru, aside from he is Waku's father. And last but not least is Zoe. Zoe is a wildlife enthusiast. Just like her parents, she enjoys volleyball, bird watching, and winter. Okay, Zoe is the Girl Scout of the group, and she is just like her parents, likes a lot of things, nature, bug catching, fishing, and all the other things. Yeah, she is just a mini version of Anne and Paul, but combines the best elements about the parents. Okay, these are all the townies you will meet in Coral Island, and actually there are more will be coming up later on in the updates. But what do you guys think of the residents so far? Who is your favorite? Tell me in the comments down below. And anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Let's Anime Sims for more updates on retro Sims content. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye!